Translation. With this consideration, Advaitacharya Prabhu, promising to cause Lord Krishna to descend, began to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, with tulsi leaves and water of the Ganges. Tulsi leaves and Ganges water with, if possible, a little pulp of sandalwood is sufficient paraphernalia to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 9:26, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktya uparitam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. Following this principle, Advaita Prabhu pleased the Supreme Personality of Godhead with tulsi leaves and water of the Ganges. Om Ajnantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Panghum Langhayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Paramananda Madhavam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yontah pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam sanjeevayathyakhila shaktidhara swadhamna anyamscha hastacharana shravanatvagadin pranam namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. Hare Krishna. So I am feeling extremely embarrassed. His Holiness Chandramouli Swami Maharaj is sitting here, and I went and I asked for his blessings, and he said, you please sit and just be a via medium to speak the words of the previous acharyas. I don't know what I can speak in front of him. And I was telling him that just before, while I was taking his blessings, I was telling him that we can only speak some words, but those words truly don't have any potency because it's all theory. But personalities like them who have given so much of their life to serve, when they speak there is so much realization. And so I just sought his blessings. Maharaj, please, by your blessings I may say a few words. So tomorrow, of course, we will be fortunate to hear from all of them about the glorious pastimes and activities of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And tomorrow being Gaur Purnima, we have been in the last probably a week talking about the Panca Tattva, talking about the glorious pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and setting the right mood and attitude for celebrating the Gaur Purnima festival. Tomorrow we will hear about the glorious advent of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and I thought it would be worthwhile to go through the series of verses in the Chaitanya Charitamrita leading up to the advent of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is tomorrow. And the scene is where in Shantipur, before the appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all of the Vaishnavas, devotees of the Lord, gathered together in the house of Advaitacharya. So Kaviraj Goswami explains, Prabhur Avirbhava Purve Jata Vaishnava Gan. Prabhur Avirbhava Purve, before the advent of the Lord, Jata Vaishnava Gan, all of the Vaishnavas, all of the devotees in the Shantipur area, Advaita Acharyar Sthane, Koroe Gaman, all the devotees, even before the advent of Lord Chaitanya, would come together in the house of Sri Advaita Prabhu. And Srila Prabhupada used to always say, birds of a feather flock together. Like-minded people always come together to engage in the business that they are interested in. If we see drunkards, they will all come together. It's an association, People all come together. Those who love to drink come together. They glorify the finest brands of liquor. They relish the finest brands of liquor. And they get absorbed in the kick that comes from the finest brands of liquor. One time there were 3 drunkards, and they were totally drunk on the finest alcohol. And when that total state of being drunk, all 3 of them came to take a cab to go back home. And all 3 of them sat in the cab. So the cab driver thought, hey, come on, these 3 guys are totally drunk, they won't even know what I'm doing. So he simply turned the ignition, the car on, and turned it off and said, we have reached. He just thought he would cheat them. So the first guy said, oh, thank you so much, you brought us so quickly, and gave him the money. The second guy said, oh yeah, you did a good job, you made us reach very fast. The third guy, who was totally drunk, slapped the driver on his face. But the driver thought maybe he realized, that I'm cheating. So why are you hitting me? He said, you drove the car so fast that you're almost about to bang into another car. Next time drive slowly, okay? Drinking alcohol does 2 things. People get drunk and get absorbed in that cake for 2 things. One is to transcend suffering, and second is to find pleasure. People take shelter of substance only for 2 things in this world. Substances and things are taken shelter of for 2 things. One is we want pleasure through it, and if not looking for pleasure, we are trying to forget the misery and the pain out of it. Srila Prabhupada would always say, life is about what? Atyantika dukkha nivritti. To somehow or the other end suffering and forget suffering and go above it. And the way we try to go above problems, above suffering, above troubles, is to try to take shelter of things and substances. Here in Shantipur, everyone was coming together in the house of Advaitacharya and trying to get absorbed. Absorption does 2 things. Absorption helps us transcend the problems, the issues, and the sufferings that are above us and around us. Anyone who takes shelter of Krishna and gets absorbed in Krishna Katha, Krishna Nam, Krishna Seva, to such a person, difficulties around seem to be insignificant. Srila Prabhupada was asked once by His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj. Bhakti Swarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj spoke to Srila Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, you had to go through so much trouble and so much suffering in establishing the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Prabhupada said, trouble? Problems? There were no troubles. There were no problems. And His Holiness spoke to Srila Prabhupada and said, but Prabhupada, you didn't have the support of your God brothers. You had to go through so much trouble to get a ticket on the cargo ship to come to America. When you came to America, you hardly had money. There were no supporters. Sickness is so much problem, so much trouble, Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, trouble? Problems? There were no troubles. There were no problems. And Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj was sitting there totally bewildered. What is Srila Prabhupada saying? Prabhupada looked back at him and said, there were no troubles. There were no problems. There was only one thing. My service to my spiritual master. He said, because there was so much absorption in my service to my spiritual master, I did not see any issues or troubles or problems anywhere around. And we've all seen, even as a practical experience in our personal lives, that whenever there has been absorption, those days in our Krishna consciousness where we have had absorption have not seen any difficulty and trouble, although there have been many. The same chronic backaches that have been troubling for so long all the time, those days that go absolutely absorbed in hearing, chanting, seva, attention is not focused on that back pain. The same devotees who have misunderstood us, and the same devotees with whom we had conflict, and the same issues of relationships which have bothered us. But those days that go completely absorbed in Krishna, those things truly don't bother us, truly don't matter to us. Bhakti is a science of absorption. And the deeper we are absorbed in the practice of Krishna consciousness, the lesser we are affected by the issues, the troubles and the problems of the body, mind and the ego. And all three trouble us. The body troubles us, the mind troubles us, and the ego troubles us. Every now and then when things don't go our way. And therefore absorption is such a powerful thing that it helps us transcend and go above what we are going through. Not just that it does that, but it also awards us pleasure. Absorption in Krishna gives tremendous pleasure. It's not just going above the difficulties, but just gives such taste and such satisfaction and such pleasure that we don't care any less for the tiny puny things of this world. Prabhur Avirbhava Purve Jata Vaishnavagan. Before the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, all the Vaishnavas, Advaitacharye Rasthane Koroe Gaman, they would all come together. Birds of a feather flock together for one business. The business of Krishna consciousness. And the other day at the Crawley opening we were sharing that Srila Prabhupada compared temples and the association of devotees to chamber of commerce. He said a temple or association of devotees is like a chamber of commerce. And what's a chamber of commerce? It's a place where people come together for business. Everyone comes together with one thing in their mind. Business, business, business. Money, money, money. Where is money? Go to the stock market. In Mumbai, sometimes some of our congregation devotees have had to go for fund collections for Janmashtami to the stock market. And you can see all the stockbrokers on their computers logged on to the NSE, the National Stock Exchange, or the BSE, the Bombay Stock Exchange, which has now become the MSE, Mumbai Stock Exchange. They're logged on constantly, and peak hours of business. All of these men are just sitting together with their computers, sometimes consulting each other how to go ahead and where to invest, where not to invest, constantly just on the go for those hours. And then some of our devotees go for fund collection, and what a disturbance that is to them in their Ekeha Kurunandana. One pointed attention, they are focused on growing their business, And they're absolutely disturbed. What are these people coming for? So these guys say, Swamiji, how much do you want? And then, at such a time, devotees know, capitalize, strike the iron when it is hot. Because they're so busy, tell a figure, and usually they're happy to give a figure. And of course, don't say exorbitant things that will disturb their minds. A decent figure. They say, you take this money, get lost. Don't disturb our business. Get lost. So some of the fund collectors have got that strategy very well. They go and they have that ability to go and catch them at the right point of time. You go, don't disturb. What do you want? Take it, you go. So Prabhupada said a chamber of commerce, a stock market, is a place where like-minded people come together to enhance their business. Material life is a business, and spiritual life is a business. Material life is a business that has so much investment and less or no returns, and a business which is guaranteed to fail. This material body is such a business. And how much investment has gone into this body? How much attention has gone into this body? Every brand of cloth that we thought I wanted, we've invested in dressing this body up with that brand. Every little piece of pizza that we thought we should eat, has gone in as an investment. Tremendous amount of physical investment, mental investment has gone into this body and the mind, But what a business this is. A guaranteed failure. Idam shariram parinama peshalam patati avashyam shatasandhi jarjaram. A business that will definitely fail, and the returns, sometimes they are good when the pleasure's on, and most times they are bad. when the body shows up and gives trouble and misery. The returns are poor and the business is certain to collapse. Patati avashyam, Kulashekar Maharaj says. Kim aushadam prichasi mudha durmate niramayam krishna rasayanam piba. What are you looking for the medicines of this world? Kulashekar Maharaj says, and of course he says, I'm not using that word, mudha. Why are you asking for the medicine of this world? Niramayam krishna rasayamam piba. Change the quality of business. Change the quality of investment, Kulashekar Maharaj urges, to a business that will never fail. Japan, because of earthquakes, homes collapse. Homes collapse. So no one invests much in a house. Knowing well, patati avashyam. This house is going to collapse. Patati avashyam. Why would anyone invest in a house which is going to collapse? Therefore, they will have homes made of paper many times. Because they know it's going to fail. It's going to fall. And therefore, investment must be done to do the needful, but not more than a certain amount. Because it collapses. The best investment is Krishna. That investment which will get back, and pay back. That's what they were doing at the stock exchange, Advaita Acharya's house in Shantipur. It was a stock exchange where they were trying to invest in Krishna. Prabhur avirbhava purve jata vaishnavagan. Advaita Acharya rasthane koriyagaman. They were all coming to the home of Advaita Acharya, which was a chamber of commerce. It was a stock investment. Srila Prabhupada's temples are business chambers, stock exchanges, where we are all coming here to change the quality of our investment. An investment that will give incredible returns and an investment that will never fail. And Advaita Acharya was a consultant. He was an investment consultant. So when all of these business people of Shantipur, the devotees, the Vaishnavas, came to the house of Advaita Acharya, what was Advaita Acharya doing? He was giving them consultancy. Gita Bhagavata kohe Acharya Gosai, Jnana Karma Nindi Kore Bhakti Rabadhai. What were his reference books? Which books was he referring to? Gita Bhagavata kohe Acharya Gosai. Advaita Acharya was referring to the Bhagavad Gita, and he was referring to the Srimad Bhagavatam. And based on the Gita and the Bhagavatam, Advaita Acharya was telling all the devotees what is the safest investment. Jnana karma nindi kore bhakti rabadhai. Jnana karma nindi. He was criticizing the process of jnana and karma. This is not a good investment. To invest in sense gratification is not a good investment, karma. To invest in Brahman liberation, jnana, not a good investment. Kare bhakti rabadhai. And he was glorifying the process of devotional service. Karma, not a good investment. Sense gratification, my God, not a good investment. Srila Prabhupada's books are very revolutionary, For the first time we heard the concept of sense gratification. Anyone here before reading Srila Prabhupada's books heard about sense gratification? We never heard, we only did. There was no question of hearing about sense gratification. We only did sense gratification. And Srila Prabhupada came and spoke about sense gratification, took the fun out, Took the fun out. Now, to enjoy the senses, even while eating prasad, one is anxious. A second gulab jamun, I think I'm indulging in too much sense gratification. Raghunath Das Goswami was only taking 3 drops of too much sense. We were never conscious. How many of you are ever conscious of eating? Ever thought about eating? Ate a few things, and every now and then, how the mind is, my God, I remember recently, in our temple, in our matchless gift shop, I don't know how many of you have eaten Afghani cream rolls. There is Russian cream rolls and there is Afghani cream rolls. Afghani cream rolls are like puff pastry kind of sheets which are turned into a roll, and there is fresh whipped cream with strawberry jam on top. It's delicious. It's just delicious. I must tell you, it's really, I'm confessing. All our childhood in India, we ate these Afghani cream rolls. And I was missing it for 19 years. Where do you get it from? Devotees don't make it. They never made it. No one ever dared making it. And suddenly I went to the gift shop recently, just a week before I came here. And I saw, and this is after lunch, I was full, packed, completely, totally filled up to the brim. Good lunch. And I went to the gift shop to get a pack of detergent powder, to do the laundry. That's where we get it from. And I went in there, the gentleman was packing the detergent powder. I was moving around seeing what's new in the gift shop. And in our gift shop, there's many new books that come. And you know how brahmacharis are. They just, new book means gone. You have to get it somehow. So I was looking around. And while looking at the books, suddenly I found this tray in front of this gentleman at the cash counter with packs of Afghani cream rolls. So I asked this Prabhu, where did you get it from? He said, we have this devotee staying in Ullasnagar. He started a bakery and he's made it. He makes it himself. It's prasad already offered. I said, can I take one pack? He said, please. So I took that pack and it goes very well with tea. It goes absolutely well with tea. And I'm thinking, my God, tea, now where do I get tea from? So and I'm not allowed to drink tea anyway. And it's not London that you get rooibos. So I was thinking, what do you do? So then I realized someone had given me this London Heather. Just 2 weeks back, London Heather and Health and Heather tea bags. Blackcurrant and lemon and lime zest and all of these different flavors. So I thought, wow, that's a good idea. Tonight, with milk, and just dip one onto the Afghani cream roll and drink the milk. And I kept it, came and kept it in my room on the desk, and I was working on the computer doing some work. And suddenly my mind looked full already, looked at those cream rolls, And I said, my God, evening, I think I have a program and it'll be very late to make this tea again. It won't be a great deal. Can't wait till tomorrow. Can you believe me? After a full lunch, I'm just confessing, if any of our brahmacharis would ever hear this online, they would say, my God, what is he doing? And then after that, ended up eating those two and they're heavy. Full lunch. I don't know if you ever got this experience. That after eating, when there's something in the room, you just want to pick it up and munch. You've eaten, pick it up and munch. Hare Krishna. And we never felt guilty about it before. Never ever. And after eating those 2 cream rolls, while eating I had a good time, and after eating I was thinking, my God, how could I do this? How could I do this? I already had prasadam. What was Prabhupada be thinking? Atyahara prayasascha. What is happening? All the philosophy also kept coming to my mind. My God. We never ever bothered about sense gratification being bad. And the simplest things now, that's why I said, Srila Prabhupada took the fun out of it. We can no longer enjoy it. No longer. It's impossible. It's impossible to have sense gratification again. Even a person who was drinking alcohol before and goes back to alcohol, every single time he's picking up a glass of alcohol, he's only remembering the classes. While he holds the glass, he remembers the class. And as he's remembering that, he's thinking, oh, Prabhupada said, I am the taste of alcohol. That Krishna says, my God. Can't miss Krishna. Advaitacharya said, the path of sense gratification and even going to heavenly planets, no good. Doesn't satisfy, doesn't fulfill. And then jnana, the path of peace. My God, all those who serve in the management, they're saying we don't want Krishna Prem. Brahman liberation is sufficient. We just want some peace. Love and all, forget it. with so much anxiety on the head and so many issues to deal with and so many problems. Forget about Krishna Prem and love. Even if I can get just peace, Shanti, that would be an invited thing, And what motivates more? Peace or love? A mother, there is no peace. Taking care of a little child, the mother has no peace. The child is crying and the child is doing all kinds of things. The child is sick and playing around and doing all kinds of mischief. And the mother is in tremendous anxiety at all points of time, and the mother has no peace. And imagine if the child dies, there is peace, Shanti. No more crying, no more changing diapers for the child, no more sicknesses, no more troubles, and the mother is happy, isn't it? With all of that peace in the house, the mother is so satisfied, fulfilled and contented that now there is Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Peace is not peace is not something that gives fulfillment. Love is a much more powerful motivational factor than peace. Anxiety that is taken based on love is a much more motivational factor than peace. In Bombay, just close to our temple, we had a lady, elderly lady, she's bedridden now. She had 13 children from her husband. 13 children. And the husband was such a crook. Brahmana family. The husband was such a crook. They had a maid servant in the house, and in the same house he had a relationship with the maid servant. And the maid servant was pregnant, And the lady, the housewife, came to know that the maid servant is pregnant. And she got to know that it was her husband. Because of him she was pregnant. The lady told the maid servant, "My husband's child is in your womb. You can't leave this house." And she didn't chastise the husband either. So whatever happened, fine, whatever mistake, don't do it ever again. She allowed the maid servant to stay at home and allowed the maid servant to give birth to the child. And she accepted the maid servant's child as her own child. The 14th child. She had 13 of her own. And she accepted the maid servant's child. She lives right next, just about 5 minutes away from Radha Gopinath temple. As her 14th child. And this 14th child, my God, how she treated that child. More than her own children. It's quite amazing. Whenever I hear that story, I'm so inspired. She treated that child more than her own child. And all the other 13, born of a Brahmin mother and father, so smart, none of them are in India. Everyone's in Silicon Valley in the United States as a software engineer. Some are doctors, some are lawyers, all 13 of them. Doctors, engineers, lawyers, chartered accountants, smart people, The only one person who really didn't get educated despite all efforts was the 14th. And now the mother is bedridden. Can't even do her basic things. And this 14th child, the son, who's the maidservant's son, is taking care of the mother, completely. All the 13 haven't. All the 13, at best, they send some money, But the 14th, who's the maidservant's child, there. Love is a very powerful force. And the investment of love is such a powerful force that in the mundane world where relationships are between a mother and a child or a man and a woman, when there is selfless affection shared and selfless love that is investment, the returns are powerful. What to speak of when that same love is invested in Krishna? Jai Shri Radha Gokulanand Bhagavan ki, Shri Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki, Gaur Nitai. That investment of love, when it is done in Krishna, the returns are manifold. If a mother can take care of a child out of love, and a child can get back and take care even though there is no physical connection, I was thinking, if that same love and service is invested in Krishna, how much Krishna will get back, And therefore, in the house of Advaitacharya was giving consultancy to all the Vaishnavas. Where should you invest? In the path of karma? Sense gratification? No. The returns are very puny, disappointing, In the path of jnana, to get peace and shanti? No. It's very disappointing. We'll never feel fulfillment. Where should we invest? Bhakti. In loving Krishna and serving Krishna. And therefore here Kaviraj Goswami explains, Gita Bhagavata kahe Acharya Gosai Jnana Karma Nindi Kare Bhakti Ra Badhai. He was glorifying the path of devotional service. So when they all came together, how did they apply that process of bhakti? Tara Sangya Ananda Kare Vaishnave Ragan Krishna Katha Krishna Puja Nama Sankirtan. They did three things to practically apply bhakti. Krishna Katha, Krishna Puja, Nama Sankirtan. These are the three things that Srila Prabhupada based his International Society for Krishna Consciousness on. Krishna Katha, the process of hearing the Gita and the Bhagavad. Krishna Puja, the process of worshipping the deities of the Lord. Yes, Maharaj? Yeah, it's in this same section, Maharaj, yeah. Leading to this, yeah. Nama Sankirtan, and the process of chanting the holy names of Krishna. ISKCON is about sound vibration. This whole movement is based on sound. Shabda, Anavritti Shabdat. Spirituality is based on sound. Revolution of consciousness is based on sound. And when that same sound gets transformed into material vibrations, we see what happens. Everything is based on Shabda, spiritual sound. It was Srila Prabhupada who sat under that tree at Tompkins Square Park with his little tambourine, not even a tambourine really, whatever little drum, whatever little he had, and sat. And all he did was vibrated transcendental sound, Nama Sankirtan. The whole revolution of the Krishna consciousness movement started from sound. And even before that, it began from sound at Ultadanga Junction Road. When a spiritual master spoke through his sound vibrations to preach in the English language. And it created a desire to take that sound. Sound is very powerful. Krishna Katha is sound. Krishna Kirtan is sound. And based on that sound, then there is Krishna Puja. Without proper sound, Srila Prabhupada said that my Guru Maharaj used to say that, devotees will think these are Galagraha, not Vigraha. Only spiritual sound makes one think this is Vigraha, deity. Otherwise one starts thinking this is Galagraha. My spiritual master has left me with a burden to take care of. Srila Prabhupada used to quote Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. And therefore sound is so powerful. When all the Vaishnavas came in the house of Advaita Prabhu, this is what they did. Krishna Katha, Krishna Puja, Nama Sankirtan. They came together and simply chanted and heard, And therefore any community, any temple, any society of devotees where priority is given to hearing and chanting becomes a thriving community of enthusiastic devotees willing to lay their lives for the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Because revolution is not brought by management. Revolution is brought by principles of spiritual leadership, which are based on Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Spiritual principles bring spiritual revolutions, and all management simply assists that principle of hearing and chanting. All management is meant to facilitate that hearing and chanting and giving the devotees that experience of Krishna, And therefore we find here in Advaita Bhavan at Shantipur incredible principles, foundational principles of how to develop communities. Krishna Puja, Krishna Nam, Krishna Katha, Krishna Puja, Nama Sankirtan. And what a powerful, blissful process that is. We have just close from our Radha Gopinath temple, 15 minutes drive at Marine Drives, a discotheque. And a guy came from the discotheque, very modern, hip kind of person. He came for the Sunday feast program. And he said, he saw all these devotees, dancing. So he said, I've been to a discotheque. He asked one of our brahmacharis. So this brahmachari said, what is that discotheque called? He said, it's called RG's. RG's discotheque. So Brahmachari said, this is also RG's, Radha Gopinath's discotheque. So then he said, but why are the men and the women dancing separately? There we all dance together. So this Brahmachari said, here only one man and woman dances together. Radha Krishna, rest everyone is separated. Then this man said, well, can I also participate in the dance? Yes, of course. And will there be food also? Because where we go, we get food. Yeah, food also. So how much do I need to pay for this? How much do I need to pay to dance here and eat? And this Brahmachari said in Hindi, Yaha gana bhi free or khana bhi free. Here food is also free. And dance is also free. And this man came from a discotheque, nothing to do with Hare Krishna, nothing to do with philosophy, nothing to do with anything. And he was blissed out in that first kirtan, Nama Sankirtan. And he started coming. 16-rounder devotee now. Initiated devotee. Began by thinking this is a cool discotheque. That's it. And now we sometimes advertise in a youth program, RG's discotheque. You can advertise this place also, Radha Gokulan. This is also RG's discotheque. My goodness. And as they were doing that at Advaita Bhavan, Krishna Puja, Krishna Katha, Krishna Sankirtan, Yatra, Tatra Tishtami Narada, Yatra Gayanti Madbhaktaha. Krishna manifests there in an unseen form. Wherever there is devotees chanting and hearing together, Krishna manifests there in an unseen form. Otherwise, there cannot be bliss. Bliss is only possible when Krishna manifests. Otherwise, there cannot be bliss. There can only be some mental titillation. Oh, it was nice. But the inspiration of the heart can only be possible when Krishna comes there. We used to go for Rath Yatra in Puri. And whenever we would go for Rath Yatra, it's very, very hot and humid on the day of the Rath Yatra. Weather is all bad, everyone just sweating, perspiring. And there are some of these social workers, I won't mention which organization they belong to. They were doing something. Maharaj can vouch, Maharaj, you can see, you've come many times with us. They would fill, these pesticide cylinders, and they spray all these pesticides and fertilizers, it's all full of chemicals. These social workers, they would empty these cylinders, and they would fill in cool water in it. But they wouldn't even bother to wash it. And they would start sprinkling it on all the devotees and all the pilgrims who were standing for Rath Yatra. So many times I would get the skin burns, all the skin would go off because this chemicals being sprayed on your head. So many times. And it seemed so cool. Oh wow. It's so hot and the water used to seem so cool. But the end result would be the skin would just peel off because of this chemical. And I have gone through it so many times, and we are going again in July, and I'm scared of it. Scared of it again. The skin will all be peeled off and burn, My God, scary experience. The sprinklers. Maya is like that, She holds a sprinkler in her hand. And when she sprinkles on us, it seems so cool, But the problem is, get a burn, a serious burn in life. Krishna, on the other hand, also holds a cylinder, a sprinkler. When he sprinkles the devotees with grace, it feels cool, it is cool, and it remains cool. That feeling cool, is cool, and will be cool is called Ananda, bliss. And that bliss was experienced by all the devotees in the home of Advaita Acharya. Tarasange Ananda Kare, Vaishnave Ragan, Krishna Puja, Krishna Katha, Nama Sankirtan. While they were doing all of this, they were experiencing incredible pleasure and bliss. But you know something? Devotees are oxymorons. Sincere devotees are oxymorons. What is an oxymoron? An oxymoron is a phrase where you have two contrary words put together. Found missing. How can be found missing? Pretty ugly. She was pretty ugly. Pretty ugly. Business ethics. Business and ethics. sincere student. Sincere student. Small crowd. There was a small crowd. Small crowd. Happily married. Sorry about that, just on the lighter side of it. Maharaj is saying it's getting better as it progresses. Two contrary emotions don't exist in a person, usually. Devotees are people who have contrary emotions in them. As they were enjoying at Advaita Bhavan, enjoying like anything, Kaviraj Goswami explains in the next very verse they were suffering. Simultaneously enjoying and suffering. They were enjoying the association of each other and chanting and dancing and serving Krishna and experiencing great bliss. But simultaneously, their hearts were pained, Krishna sarv kintu sarva loka dekhi, Krishna bahirmukh. When they saw all the people suffering, being Krishna bahirmukh, averse to Krishna, Vishay nimagna loka dekhi paye dukh. While there was sukh in the last verse, Ananda, the next verse talks of dukh. Sukh and dukh. Ananda and dukh. Joy and distress together. Joy of being with each other and experiencing Krishna, and distress of seeing the pain of everyone around. And therefore, a devotee is constantly feeling pain. Devotee should never be distressed. There's no point being distressed. If devotee is distressed and not enjoying Krishna Katha and Krishna Kirtan, if anyone comes here, a distressed person and a distressed person both together, what a distress. Suniti told Dhruva, when Dhruva went to her, my dear child, you have come crying, and I have no choice to help you, I can't help you, I'll cry, and both of us will make a pool of tears. I can't do anything for you. It needs tremendous honesty and humility to say that I can't help you. I can't help you. She said, you go to Krishna. Krishna can help you. There's no point increasing the pool of tears. Therefore, people, when they come to the path of Krishna consciousness, all of us have experienced how we came in tremendous distress and agony and anguish of our lives. If the devotees were miserable, who would give hope? A psychiatrist, the World Health Organization gave a statistic that every third person has to go to a psychiatrist today. And every third psychiatrist has to go to another psychiatrist. After hearing all of these psychiatric problems, he needs the help, You know what's the difference between a psychotic, a neurotic, and a psychiatrist? A psychotic is a guy who builds a castle in the air. This is my fantasy. And who's a neurotic? He lives in that castle. And who is a psychiatrist? He collects rent from both for a castle that is built in there. His fees is the rent. My God. How do we help? How do we help people who are in distress? Devotees, unless they experience happiness and joy, we cannot make others happy. Preaching Krishna consciousness is bringing a ray of hope in the hopeless lives of the misdirected civilization of this material cosmos. And unless we have hope and we have satisfaction, we cannot give that satisfaction and happiness to others. And therefore, like in Advaita Bhavan, ISKCON and these temples are like Advaita Bhavan, where we all come together and we are blissful. We take shelter of Krishna Naam, we take shelter of Krishna Katha, we take shelter of Krishna Puja and are blissful. Because if we are not blissful, who gives bliss to the world? Everyone's in distress. Everyone's in distress. The whole world is troubled. The whole world is in problem, and we keep hearing every hour. And if I start telling you the problems of the Bombay people, what kind of problems they come to, and I hear them every second day. Issues and problems that are just, my goodness, to the core frustrating and agonizing. And we are going through agony and we are just bent on our own problems, that this devotee said this and this devotee did this and I am this and my God, my life and my this and my that. Everyone's thinking of my. Who gives hope to the world? Who gives hope to the world? And therefore, when there is ananda, there is simultaneously dukkha. We are happy to be amongst devotees. We are happy to focus on the core principles of bhakti. Simultaneously, we are pained to see that so many in this world are staying in the funny farm of this material world, going through tremendous amount of delirium and disorientation in life, and they need to be brought to the path of Krishna consciousness. This was their agony. This was their pain at Advaita Bhavan. This is an oxymoron, and all of us want to be an oxymoron in our lives. We are always living our lives on extreme ends. Totally self-absorbed in my physical problems, my mental problems, my relationship conflicts, and simply absorbed to set them right. We can never set them right completely. Or we are on the other extreme, living in our own cocoons and on our own shells, just chanting our own rounds and just thinking I'm blissed out. Extremism is bad. Bhakti is about bringing in a fine balance. A balance where we are relishing our lives, thoroughly relishing our process of Krishna consciousness in the loving association of devotees, while simultaneously our hearts feel pained to see the suffering. Srila Prabhupada was such a personality. While he was relishing Krishna, how he was relishing Krishna. But when he saw people standing in a queue at a bus stop, I can never have a tear coming down. What's the big deal? In Bombay, I see people standing in a queue every now and then. Those queues are unending anyways. What's the big deal? People are standing in queue. Prabhupada had tears in his eyes. Seeing people standing in a queue, he had tears in his eyes that these people are suffering. And what can we do for them? My God. And this was the contemplation at Advaita Bhavan. And with that contemplation, they were honest and humble to know that yes, we have concern, but we also have limitation. We have the concern to help, but we have the limitation that we cannot help. Being who we are, there's only one person who can help. Krishna. Right? Therefore, as we preach Krishna consciousness and we share Krishna consciousness, if we ever start thinking with a halo around our head, that holier than thou attitude that we are helping, sad to say, that's a great illusion. We have tremendous limitations. Our minds, our senses, and our bodies, and our life itself, we have tremendous limitation. As 1/10,000, the tip of a hair, spirit, souls, what can we help? But we can try to bring Krishna in the lives of others to help. That's what Advaita Prabhu did with all the Vaishnavas. And then they started, my God, calling Advaita Prabhu, Krishna avatarite acharya pratigya korila, Krishna puja kore, tulsi ganga jala diya. On the banks of Ganga, he offered tulsi and Ganga jal. And along with that worship, intensely prayed. Intense prayer. With that prayer started calling upon Krishna, please come, Saghana Hunkar. Saghana Hunkar is roaring like a lion. He was calling for Krishna. Therefore he got the name Advaita Simha. Roaring at the banks of the river Ganga for Krishna to come, beseeching him. We can't take the people. We are having a great time. What about the others? And on the beseech and request of Advaita Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya came. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, bhakti is so simple. When we go through our troubles and difficulties in Krishna consciousness, we're always trying to find a magic formula how things will be set right. And in every class, in every seminar, we are looking for that one thing that will put it all right. Always looking for that one thing. How will I go through the struggles of my bhakti and the issues of my bhakti? Bhakti is very simple. There's no need to do anything separately. Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The simple acts of bhakti. Tulsi and Gangajal. Tulsi and Gangajal is sufficient to get Krishna in life. The simple acts of bhakti. Therefore, rather than just being tense about our issues, if we just get intense about the same practices that we do, the same practices of chanting, worshipping with Tulsi and Gangajal, we bring Krishna in our own life. And when we bring Krishna in our own life, we can share Krishna with others. And on the eve of Gaur Purnima, we are hearing this. These are all series of verses And now on will start the verses where Jagannath Mishra and Chachi's story will start after this verse. That story will begin, which is tomorrow. How Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. But these are the things that happened in Shantipur, to set the scene for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And they had such cooperation. One of the reasons why Lord Chaitanya came was because Advaita Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, Brahmana and outcast, chanting together at Advaita Bhavan. This is what is required to get Lord Chaitanya. Nothing less than this can get him. Nothing less than this can get Lord Chaitanya. This tremendous cooperation amongst all the devotees and the Vaishnavas, with all external things left behind, all external differences left behind, where everyone just comes together in ISKCON, which is like Advaita Bhavan, and with Krishna Naam, Krishna Katha, Krishna Puja, enjoying Krishna consciousness, feeling pain for others, Lord Chaitanya manifests. And then that place becomes a lively community. An incredible community where everyone who walks in feels hope, where everyone who walks in feels inspired, where everyone who walks in feels, yes, I want to do this. And this is the scene being set for the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita on the eve of Gaur Purnima. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Maharaj, you would like to correct anything, any corrections, additions?